This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a guest I've had a couple times, but this is the very first time he's been live, and he's a bit of a crazy individual, so you never know what's going to happen in this. None other than Jason Sensation himself. I guess we could call you a former WWE superstar, couldn't we?
I guess so. Maybe a talent or personality or whatever.
Where did you never actually had a match for them, did you?
Only on their developmental circuit. I never really had a match in the ring, except for that time Owen slapped me and put me in the sharpshooter. That's the closest I got to a match on their show.
Your screen is a little bit frozen. Can you see if are you moving on your end?
No. Oh, maybe. Let me see. Damn, it froze.
Maybe jump in and out again.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, no problem. And fans, he is going to do some impressions and answer fan questions on this once we get him back. So hello there to everyone that's tuned into this. Jason is not a nugget. Jason Sensation. So yeah, let me know your questions once he comes back on here, and I'll definitely ask him your questions and get the impressions in. Here he is, and he's moving now.
All right.
Seth is saying that you're not a nugget.
I am not. No.
And we are in Canada where weed is legal, and I'm in my last day of quarantine, and I've already worked out twice. So because you're such a comical person, I'm going to smoke some weed while we're doing this.
Nice.
Steve Austin still hasn't sent me those beers.
Good for you. I haven't. I got a bad pain. I got a reoccurring wrestling neck injury, and I haven't smoked weed for a few months now. So it's like, oh man, it's like I noticed the difference without having it for the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you stop?
I don't know. Just wanted to clear my mind. Wanted to try to, I don't know, live a cleaner lifestyle. And I don't know, try to figure myself out more. Get out of some of the fog that I've been living in. But not that it's a negative thing. I think it's a positive thing. But it also, I guess it could have a negative impact if you abuse it. And, there was also, mental health issues, and I was trying different medications instead of using marijuana. So sometimes I would use marijuana, but I was trying some different medications that really didn't help. Yeah.
Well, your favorite skit says you are the best. So I hope that cheers you up. Because you're in Ontario too. You're in Toronto. So yeah. This is mostly Americans watching us where everything's opening up, but we're on like full lockdown here, pretty much in prison in our house.
Yeah, it's definitely a mess. It's been like this for a while. But yeah, I feel like I've been crazy for a long time. You said it, this guy's a little crazy. So I feel like the rest of the world is joining me on the madness now. So anyway, but yeah, it's been pretty tough here in Ontario. Everything's closed down. And as I've been saying to people, my my caution tape wrestling attire is draped over every single store I go to.
It's even taped up. They've taped up the parks here. I don't know about Toronto, but like it's pretty sad when you walk by a park and it's like all caution taped off.
What's going on, man? I think the whole world's going crazy on me, man. I don't know what's going on out there. Anyway,
have you been paying attention? It hasn't really made the Canadian news, but it's all over the U.S. All this stuff about UFOs coming out too, like almost on a daily basis.
Really? No, yeah, I saw something a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't know it was coming out like that. Wow, that's scary.
Yeah, from the military. Even Barack Obama came out a couple of days ago and said they existed. So it's like, what's coming? Why are they suddenly saying that they exist? What's going to happen next?
E.T. is phoning home. Elliot, here I come.
Well, there you go. Jimmy Smith wanted an impression. There, we got your E.T. one. Can you do Elliot too?
I would have to think about Elliot. E.T. always stuck with me. Reese's Pieces.
All I remember from that movie, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, is the scene where he releases all the frogs from dissection.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene. Cool, interesting. Taking care of his own.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they still even do that. I remember when we had to do that in science class, they were already dead. But it's like in the movie, the kids had to kill their own frogs. So
Yeah, it's true. Oh my gosh, what a mess.
now
That's
with
horrible.
computers, though, I'm pretty sure that they don't even do that anymore.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I don't think I ever experienced that, but I was always against it. If I ever had to, I would have left class that day. So what about you, Devin? Everything good with you otherwise, other than the madness?
Oh yeah, we're this channel's growing every day. I just interviewed Kurt Angle. Hey, can you do a Kurt Angle impression?
Oh, it's true. Oh, it's damn true. Oh, it's red, white, and blue true. Woo! There you go.
Very good. And I got Shane Douglas coming up next week, and Slick coming up soon.
Slick, I love Slick, the Doctor of Style. And I met Shane only once, Shane Douglas. He was really gracious to me. Yeah, a great guy. And Slick, man, I never met Slick, but I'm a huge fan of Slick. Let me tell you, I ain't no job soul, bro.
People may find this unbelievable, but I actually have that song on my iPod, and when I'm running outside, that song, along with the Rougeau Brothers song, will still pump me up.
I have those two, as well as the Mountie song, and I sing it out loud, and I always get the oddest looks. I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong.
Hey, I'm going to take myself out of the screen. I'm very good friends with the Mountie. If you could do the Mountie, I'll actually send them the clip.
Oh, cool. Okay. I am the Mountie, and I am the Jacques Rougeau. And you want a finger? Here is the finger, McMahon. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Sometimes you don't know what you're saying when you're doing impressions.
And for the fan, you actually brought up something that I had kind of repressed. But for the fans that don't know, in Canada, the Mounties actually sued WWE because they didn't like how Jacques was portraying him, because they actually don't carry shock sticks. But most of the Americans were actually buying that this is how the Mounties were. So in Canada, he would have to like do the promos, and instead of saying I'm the Mountie, I am the Jacques Rougeau, which really made no sense.
That's right. And they changed the song to We're Not the Mounties, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good way of getting back at them.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if any prison guards got mad at them for using the Big Boss Man, but yeah, I guess Canada didn't appreciate the Mounties being portrayed by Jacques Rougeau. I thought, as I was proud as a Canadian, I thought it was just hilarious. Jacques Rougeau, I've always been a fan of his, and he was always really, gracious with me too. He was a really good guy to me on the road, and everyone in Montreal always treated me really well. I was really treated good out in Montreal. But yeah, big fan of Jacques Rougeau, and I wish they would bring him back sometimes. It'd be nice to see him come back.
Well, a little known fact, but my channel fans know this, and I'll find the picture next time you answer a long question, is he actually tried to get the son that he had the most potential was Cedric to be successful in WWE. He's like 6'6", 300 pounds. And he is handsome. I've gone out to a lot of clubs with a lot of people, and I can tell you the few times I went out with Cedric, he is a chick magnet. He has the Rougeau last name. He could have been a huge star, but they never picked him up. But Jacques actually tried to make him and I the new Mounties, with Jacques managing us. This would have been around 2014. He actually messaged, I think, Vince McMahon directly via email by it, but we never heard back. But that would have got over like crazy.
Yeah, that would have been huge. I'm sorry to hear that. What I don't understand. Yeah, his son looks like $1 million. I wondered that when I'd seen some pictures of him, like, how come they haven't picked this kid up yet? He looks amazing. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
The rumor and the innuendo is, and Jacques Rougeau was one of my trainers. That's how I know him so well and his family. But Kevin Owens had a bad experience with him, and there's heat.
Really?
So the rumor and innuendo is, the upper level talents kiboshed it when they ended up giving Cedric a tryout.
They did?
Nothing came of it. But it's like he has the last name. He has the size. You hire so many people for nothing. There was so much potential. And now he's like a used car salesman. And it's just like, this is nuts.
Yeah,
because Kevin Owens is not a representative of like Quebec like Jacques Rougeau was.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the whole yeah. I was going to say the whole country is behind him, but they didn't separate. But yeah, no, like, yeah, the entire province is behind him 100%. And I mean, yeah, he could just do so much for the company still. And his son looks like, I don't know, like just by the look of him, I think they could do so much. He could be the next big thing. I mean, I really feel they could be dropping the ball on this one. Too bad.
Yeah, I think they definitely dropped the ball on that. When Jacques had his third retirement match in Montreal, I think it was in 2018, there was 11,000 people there.
Wow.
I went and covered it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See? Still got it. That's awesome.
He teamed with his sons. So it was like he teamed with all three of his sons. And it was a pretty good match. And just a sad night. I was there. I covered it. It's actually on the Hannibal TV for anyone that wants to look it up. But just he has another son too that lives in British Columbia. And he actually did some high flying stuff and he was fully ripped. He's not as big as Cedric. But I was watching this match and I'm just like, this is so sad because you have 11,000 people. The Rougeau name is so strong. And you have these kids. And I'll put up the picture. This is the picture that Jacques sent to WWE.
Oh my gosh.
So there's Cedric. And like I would have been the worker of the team. I could have done all
Jacques
the work.
still looks great.
Jacques actually looks better than that now.
Wow. That's awesome.
That was in his backyard, but it's like that team would have had the potential because even though Cedric may not have been the season worker, I could have done it. He could have just looked handsome, and Jacques would have got us the heat automatically.
For sure. That would have been great.
But
I don't know. I still like to keep hope alive, but I don't do it for myself, but just for others anyway. I think I've burned that bridge beyond coming back.
Yeah, I actually have no interest in working for them anymore. I like doing my own thing. But you know what? Whenever we run again, if they ever let us run, if the aliens don't invade next, and then we're locked up, even worse, we would love to have you do something for Great North Wrestling once we get running again.
Oh, thanks. I'd be honored. No, you guys are doing a lot of awesome things up there. It's so happy to see my old friend Charlie Haas up there.
Oh yeah. He's actually in a different company, but that I was working with. But he's doing better.
Oh, I mixed it up then. So.
Yeah, no, it is confusing because it all airs on my channel. I worked with some different companies during this lockdown to still be able to wrestle. But tell us about Charlie because not a lot of people talk about him. So I'd like to hear your experience. And I like him.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's a really wonderful person. Him and his brother, Russ, they really looked out for me. They were good guys. I fell into some problems in Memphis, Tennessee. And, not to put down Kevin Thorne, who's actually, we had our differences and some bad shit happened between us. But, when I found him on Twitter, he reached out back to me and I was like losing my shit on him. And he really reached back out to me and was really kind and gracious and apologetic, and he apologized to me for anything that happened and just reminded me that we were both kids at the time, and he was just trying to do his best to make it in the business, and he really regretted some of the stuff that happened anyway. So much respect to Kevin Thorne, but there was a time when he jumped me in the dressing not in the dressing room, in the training facility. He jumped me, and it was scary. It was like he had me by the throat, and I was like in trouble at the time. The guy towered over me and was double my size. And it was the Haas brothers that jumped in and grabbed him and pulled him off of me. And both of them, but Russ, God rest his soul. Oh my gosh, I have so many good memories of Russ Haas and Charlie, both of them. They were such good guys to me, and they were like big brothers to me, and they looked out for me. And I remember when I got let go, they both came and made sure they took me out a bunch of times. They just wanted to try to live the memories and keep the memories alive, and even try to keep in touch with me after the fact. And I even did an impression of Charlie's brother Russ. Don Pablo's. Hey, let's go to Don Pablo's. Let's go to Don Pablo's. But anyway, they're such good guys. And Charlie, we stayed in touch kind of over the years. You know, it would be every now and then, maybe every couple of years, we would touch base again. And there was a time he came to the television company I was working with in Toronto, City TV. And he was a guest on City TV, and I was a security guard. So I got to, you know, walk around and be his security guard for the day. And it was just so great to be reconnected with him and reunited with him. And I remember my main executive boss was stuck in this freight elevator, and he was banging on the window trying to get my attention as I walked by probably 10 times with Charlie. And when my other boss, Steve Somerville, who got me the job, had talked to this boss, Rob Wright, he told him, Rob, you got to understand, he hasn't seen these guys in years. I think Rob was maybe on the verge of firing me, and then Steve talked him out of it. So, and we were all buddies after that. But me and Charlie stayed close for a long time, and we stayed in touch, I guess, online when he was doing his Twitter before. We stayed in touch that way. But I'll never forget that I heard, I couldn't believe hearing this news that Charlie had spoken up for me in a Final Shoot interview on ROH. And maybe he's not so proud of that interview anymore, and I'm not trying to bring up any dirty dirt or whatever, or dirty laundry, but I had heard that he spoke up for me in his Final Shoot interview against Kevin Kelly, and he said some things against Kevin Kelly, who really went out of his way to screw my career and really, really, really made my career a living hell in the last days of my career, and probably was instrumental in me not having the job, or losing the contract, or not being re-signed. But
that reminds me, somebody wanted me to ask you about Kevin Kelly, so you can go back to that after. It was a question that came up earlier.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was shocked to hear that Charlie stood up for me there, and he said some really nice things in this interview. I guess this shoot interview that they cut the camera on him, and they cut his mic, but he had said something about Kevin Kelly about, you know, you're sitting there in that position, something along the lines of Jason Sensation should be sitting there if he didn't screw his career over. And it just meant a lot to me because, you know, a lot of people there were a bunch of guys that witnessed what happened to me in the day, a bunch of men and women that witnessed what happened to me back there, but not a lot of people spoke up about it. And when I was kind of losing my mind and burning my bridges about it, I never heard anybody really talk about it very much. So it meant a lot to me that Charlie spoke up for me. And I just feel like we're always brothers, and I'll always have his back, and I feel like he'll always have mine. I love him forever. I love Charlie Haas.
And it was actually John Paz. I don't know if you know him from the two-man power trip of wrestling. He wanted to know about Kevin Kelly. Oh
yeah, we did an interview recently, not too long ago. So yeah, Kevin Kelly just went out of his way to screw me. And I talked about this on the podcast I'm doing with Dave Curran, Impressions of Wrestling with Jason Sensation, which we've got a hiatus, but hopefully we're going to get it back on the road someday. But there's a lot that went down with Kevin. He was in charge in Memphis. He was kind of in charge of the talent, and he was also working broadcasting on the show. And this guy just made my life a living hell. He bullied me and used his position to bully me at work, and just really drove me out of my mind. And I was just trying to do my best. And it was, you know, after a long period of being stuck at home, and I finally got an opportunity to show myself in Memphis, and I was living there, brand new country, brand new world for me. And this guy was making my life a living hell and not allowing me to utilize my talents and show the company what I really could do. Never allowed me to do broadcasting with him after I stole the show at this Make-A-Wish baseball game and showed how great I could be ad-libbing. Never let me sit down with him and do broadcasting. He would take this local guy that was well known locally and do broadcasting with him, but I never got to call a match with Kevin Kelly. I was announcing. He always called me Howard Finkel impersonator. He would never let me announce in my own voice. He would always try to cut me down and make me just say the voice instead of trying to announce it in a bigger way. You're trying to steal the boys' heat. Always get in the ring, get out of the ring, always on my ass and feeding the office bullshit about me. Some of the stuff I'd heard from some of the people that I trusted that were coming back to me like, this guy is burying you. Just buried me to the office, made my life a living hell. And the one time I almost touched base with him was when he was doing something on one of the wrestling dirt sheet sites. He was working with this guy. I forget the guy's name, but somehow we were supposed to go on air together, and I was really pissed. It was the time I was losing my mind. I was going off the deep end and maybe should not have been online burning a bunch of bridges. But I almost had the opportunity to speak to him, but we never made the connection on the phone. And all I got were these messages, "Are you being raped again?" and all these awful messages I was getting from them. And it was just like, it's just, even after so many years, I never heard anything good from him. And I've reached out to him on many occasions, and maybe I've been a little, stiff with the way I've been reaching out, but it's going back on the pain that I dealt with. And, it's been a long time I've been trying to deal with this pain, and I get over it and then it comes back to haunt me and things of that nature. But he never once apologized. He never said sorry. And the last time I spoke to him was when he called me to let me go from WWE and say they weren't going to re-sign me and they're going to send me home a few months early from my contract. And he's like, I let them know how close I am with you, so they let me do the call. And it was just so condescending. And it's just you really want to rub fucking dirt in my face, kick a man while he's down. And the last thing he said to me was, "Don't go jump off a bridge because they call people back all the time." It's just like, anyway, it was very hurtful the way he treated me, and I wish I could say I've gotten over it, and I've tried to, but I really want to forgive him, and I think I'm getting to that point in my life. I'm trying to get through to the point in my life where I can just forgive everyone I have a problem with, and try to let it go. And as Bret Hart would say, get this big bag of bricks off my back. That's what I've got to do myself, and I'm working on it. But yeah, Kevin,
I prefer to take the Ultimate Warrior's case. What he says, "What isn't for you is against you, and who is against you is your fucking enemy." I take the opposite route.
That is dead on. You got him down pat now. That's awesome.
Somebody wants to know if you can do Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, the promotional consideration is paid for by the following. Oh my goodness, what a match here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Unbelievable. What an unbelievable match. What a great wrestler. There, I'm trying on the spot, but I thought I could do him as a kid anyway.
This is the funniest comment ever, and he must be talking about your beard. But Mike says you look like Brodus Clay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know. I tell people I'm growing a mask now, but honestly, I just didn't shave for a little bit and then just started growing out, and I was just like, this looks as ugly as I feel. I was depressed at the time, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep it growing. And I really look at it like it's an ugly beard. But the odd thing I'm going to say is I'm getting, at the times we can go out because we're so closed off from the world here in Ontario, but we can still go to grocery stores and things of that nature. So when I do hit the grocery store or some of the places that are essential, I find that I get more attention from women that can see this somehow, these whiskers sticking out of the mask. But even outside, riding my bike or going for a walk, I'm noticing more attention from women with this beard on. And I'm like, well, it's kind of weird. And I'm very close with my ex-girlfriend. We're really good friends. So we still hang out once in a while and still talk a lot. So I was visiting her, Sophia, the other day, and she was like, I love your beard. And I'm like, really? I find it so ugly. I just think it's so ugly. I don't even know why I'm keeping it. And she's like, no, keep it. And so I told her, I have noticed, women seem to notice me more. And she said, it's a manly thing. Women are attracted to men with beards. It's a manly thing, and a lot of women are attracted to that. It is attractive on you, Jason. If you could trim it a little bit, it might look better on you, she said. But anyway, so it's just like, I don't know. It's still growing, so I'm keeping it for some reason. But
You don't have the lip, and I notice if you're giving oral sex to girls, sometimes they'll complain about that. So you might have a good thing going there. Jimmy,
no comment.
Jimmy Smith wants to know if you have a Stone Cold impression.
The bottom line is, I ain't never liked that little piece of trash, Jason Sensation. I blocked him on Twitter 10 years ago because he tried to give me a movie idea. I didn't even know he was on Twitter, and if I did, I would have blocked his ass before that. A little piece of trash. And if he gets through to me somehow, I'll whoop his little ass. And that's the bottom line. It's Stone Cold said so. Give me a hell yeah. There you go.
Well, Tony has a comment that he actually thinks you should have a mustache.
Tony Bronco, that's my boy, Tony Bronco. We're good buddies. Me and Tony are really close friends. Him and his dad and my dad, they worked together for years. And then I met Tony when I was cashing in those big WWE checks at the bank. And he was a huge wrestling fan. And he'd be like, I'd walk into the busiest day at the bank, and he was like running this bank. And he'd be like, come on over. He'd let me beat the lineup. But we stayed in touch, and we stayed good friends. Yeah, the beard looks okay. But he's a mustache. No. I like the Muslim look.
Yeah, you actually do have a bit of a Muslim look now that you mention it. Now,
Good to see you, Tony Bronco. Love you, brother.
So maybe you'll appeal to, there's a lot of Muslim ladies in Ontario, for those that don't know. We have a high population.
We'll see. I tend to scare people off immediately.
I thought girls liked funny. You always hear that even like somebody, you actually, in the screenshot, you actually look good. You actually look handsome.
Oh, thanks, brother. You look good yourself. You're taking care of yourself. Good man. But yeah, thanks a lot. No, I don't know. It's the mental illness. It's the crazy part that I think scares women off. There was a woman I was like, I'd fallen for. I never even met the woman, but I fell for her last year, and I was just like, I hadn't felt like I'd fallen in love for a long time, and I'd kind of written it off, but I was feeling like honestly feeling love. And I know sometimes guys are a little quick to draw with that, but anyway, that's what I was feeling. And I didn't really open that up to her, but just showing her that I liked her too much and maybe showing too much attention, it scared her right off. And she even said that I made her afraid. And I think it's, there's a stigma around mental illness. And I think there's a fear of, making someone who's depressed feel more depressed. So she even said she was afraid. And I don't blame her. I don't take it away from her, but I'm just saying it kind of put me back into my shell. It's just like, your time's over, son. Anyway, I'm getting up there. I'm 43 years old now. I saw this thing on Google that said I was 56 and have 2 kids. I don't have any children, and I'm 43 years old, okay? Just for the record.
Yeah, a lot of people can change your Wikipedia, which some people don't understand. I don't know how to change a Wikipedia. Luckily, there's some fans of mine that do and fix some of the jokes people put. But you can't believe everything that's written online, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. True enough.
Someone would like to know, what's your favorite thing about wrestling, maybe of all time, or anything that still exists about it?
I think it's the connection that it brings in families, and especially like father-son connections. I think it brings a lot of people together, and yeah, it's outside of actually what wrestling is, but I love the what's outside of it, that it the way it can bring people together and families together. And I always loved that part since I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and MMA really can't be like that because you can suspend your disbelief for wrestling, but like it's not the same bringing like a group of kids when people are legitimately trying to possibly kill the other person or literally break their arms. So wrestling is nice for that. I was at a rodeo event not too long ago, and I thought it was kind of cute. All the kids that were watching and all climbing on everything. But yeah, it's
Nice.
It's a good point that the whole family can go, unless it's like death match wrestling. I don't know if you saw the clip of the guy getting his balls lit on fire last week, and he goes running right into a kid, and it's like, why do you even bring your kid to a match like that? That's not appropriate.
Awful. I remember even when that match I had with Abdullah where he was cutting me up, little kids screaming, cut him again, and you're the one who asked for this. And I was just like, oh, this is too graphic for kids to watch. Anyway, what a mess. Yeah, agreed.
Well, I'm glad you came out of that with just flesh wounds.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot better than him these days. I can tell you that. Now, Boulder is bringing up something. It's actually the Macho Man's 10-year death anniversary today. I put on a memorial event for him that had the blessing of his family.
Awesome.
I know you're a huge fan of his, so do you want to talk about that? I don't know if you ever met him or not.
No, and I always wanted to meet Macho Man, and it's funny because that's the first impersonation I could do. Yeah, rest his soul. Yeah, it was the first impersonation I could do. My brother Eddie would say I stole it from him, but yeah, he was doing it, but I'm the one who perfected it. Anyway, and no, I loved Macho Man. I think everyone often duplicated, never replicated. But yeah, he was, yeah, like everyone loved Macho Man. I loved him as a fan, and I still do, and I still go back to what a character he was, and the way he stole the show and just mesmerized the screen, and there's never going to be anyone like him again. And yeah, I saw that biography, and I wasn't impressed either. I love Hulk Hogan. I'm a big Hulkamaniac, but I love Macho Man. I love these guys. I really love them. I love these guys that I grew up watching, and I was really let down to see Bubba the Love Sponge on the show, getting so much time on that biography, and him and Hogan getting to put down Macho Man. And yeah, let's talk about the times we made fun of him and set him off. And I don't think there was any reason for that. If there was any need for it in the documentary, and it bothered me. It bugged me a lot. And it's just like every time I get back to my Hulkamaniac in my heart, he lets me down again. Come on, brother. What are you doing, man? But it's just like, I don't know.
He does the same with Warrior, by the way, as I'm sure you know, with a lot of like pure lies that you'll hear him slip in. And you're like, he says it so innocently. He is a great worker, but he'll slip in these shots just to like help him make himself look better.
Yeah, totally. I feel the same way. I've heard that a bunch about Warrior, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to put down Hulk Hogan. I love him. I really respect him, and I hold him in high regard. But it seems like there's times where he's still putting down these guys. Oh no, I think I froze. My screen froze again. I'll go back and come back again.
All right.
Sorry.
I'll chat with the fans while you're waiting. Velveteen Dream has been released by WWE to give you guys some news. He was involved in some speaking out allegations. By the way, you can get these 420, the Hannibal TV sweaters, on our merch page in the description. Rob Steele wants to hear a Ric Flair impression, one of the all-time greats.
Woo, the nature boy, Ric Flair.
kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine running, jet flying, son of a gun. And this is the greatest belt I've ever held in my life. Hogan, Hall, Nash, Bissell, you turn the camera on and I'll be naked when you come back. Woo!
He is still the most entertaining thing in wrestling. I have to say, he really is.
Agreed.
Did you ever meet him? I'm sure you must have met him.
I was lucky to, yeah. He had just got the job just after I was hired. I was let go and my contract ran out. So I was so sad that I didn't get to meet him. And God bless her, Molly Holly, such a sweet-hearted individual. And you can hear on my Impressions of Wrestling podcast some of the stories of what she did for me. She did so much for me. It really helped me out. But maybe, yeah, it was 1 year after I got let go. It was WrestleMania 18 was in Toronto, and Molly Holly called me and said, I'm getting you tickets for the show. And then after the show, she invited me to the after party. And it was, I was her guest at the after party. Bless her. She was so nice. She knew what I went through and wanted to give me a really good goodbye. And that was a really nice goodbye. I got to see a lot of people, even talked to Vince McMahon that night. But Ric Flair, I got to meet him, and she introduced me, and I got to do his impression to him. And everyone around was laughing their asses off. Heyman, Anderson, all these guys around, but Flair didn't laugh. So I never really knew if he liked my impression. But then I got to meet him years later when I was doing security at City TV. He came in, and I had just bought his book. So I asked him, can you I didn't like that Kevin Kelly fired me. Can you fire me? Because he used to fire people when he was a president. I'm the president, and you're fired. You're fired. I'm the president of the United States, and you're fired. You're fired, though. Remember him and Piper? Piper was like, I'm not fired. You're fired. I'm not fired. You're fired. And you know what? You got to wrestle me at Slamboree. You're fired, though. I'm not fired. You're fired. Anyway, so I said,
hey, that was the best promo I've seen in 2021, by the way.
Thank you. But yeah, when he came in the building, and he was so funny. He was flirting with the secretary. He was flirting with the woman on the phone. He was just, woo, his hostess he was flirting with. He's, I'm Ric Flair. What's your name? He was so funny. But yeah, and I asked him, I even brought my little brother John to come in and meet him that day. And we got a picture with Nate doing the Four Horsemen symbol. But I asked him to sign the Ric Flair book, firing me. Jason Sensation, you're fired. So that's how he signed my Ric Flair book, and I have his autograph. So Kevin Kelly, you're not the one who fired me. Ric Flair fired me. Woo! There you go.
Now, this is an interesting one. Davey Boy Smith Jr., who wrestles for this company, Great North Wrestling here, but I hear he's going back to WWE soon. He's known for his impressions. He's done impressions with me. Can you do one of him?
I haven't tried to do him. I have to work on him. I'm friends with the guy. Yeah, we're actually close, and we talk every couple of years, and whenever he's in my place or I'm in his place, we'll get together. But yeah, I've never tried his impression. In fact, he's the first person I wrestled with when I was 20 years old, and 21 years old, and I was at sadly I was at Owen Hart's funeral, and then I went back to the house, and I really didn't know who to talk to, and I felt out of place, and I didn't know where to go or what to do, and I just felt out of place. And Lindsay Basarab Hart, who I'm still friends with now, she came up to me. She was just a kid, 14 or 15. She came up to me and said, hey, come hang out with the kids. They'll be happy. You'll help the kids. And I'm like, I don't even know where to go or who to hang out with. And I just feel out of place. And such a sad day. She's like, come hang out with us kids, because it'll be nice to have you do some voices for us, and you'll be able to get all some of our minds off it. So I went out and hung out with all the kids, and I was doing voices for everybody, and ended up going down to the dungeon for the first time. And Harry taught me how to wrestle there. Gave me some arm drags, and he was just half my size, and now I'm half his size. But yeah, it was a really a nice moment out of a sad moment, and I'll never forget that. I'm still friends with both of them to this day. Yeah, a lot
I
of heart.
actually have a dungeon match versus Harry on tape from like
Wow,
2003 that I should get converted from VHS one day.
that's cool. That's awesome.
I'm going to give you some tips after this if you have PayPal, because someone's paying you $5 to do a Mick Foley or John Cena.
Really interesting. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've never looked into that stuff. Maybe I should. But Mick Foley, let me try. Sometimes I get him down perfect, and sometimes it doesn't work out. I'll try. Hey, Jason, it's Mick Foley here. Why don't you? No, it's not coming out good.
What about John Cena?
Yeah, John Cena. Let me try.
I know you could probably do Mankind better than Foley, right?
Yeah, Mankind, no problem. Have a nice day. No, but yeah, I don't know. It's not coming out good for some reason. I don't know why. I get because we're close and because I'm friends with him, I get worried about doing it wrong. So
he gets his feelings hurt easily. Al Snow told me.
I just get self-conscious because he's done so much to help me. I don't want to let him down. So yeah, I'd have to be in the best frame for it. But have a nice day. Bang bang. I was always a big fan of Mick Foley. So even back in the Cactus Jack days, I really loved him. So for him to be such a nice guy and such a friend of mine, I'm sure I've talked about that. But yeah, he's done a lot for me. We still keep in touch. And John Cena, I've never really tried. I'm John Cena. I don't know.
Oh, damn it. You froze again.
Oh, really? Damn it. Okay, I'll come back. It's a sign. Hulk Hogan doesn't want me talking about him. Neither does John Cena.
Yeah, Hogan's. Yeah. Well, now we can wait and we can have some build up to the John Cena one.
We'll try.
So, yeah, he's going to come back and do the John Cena. Thank you for the tipped impressions. I'll definitely ask impressions for anyone that wants to give him a tip. Very entertaining guy. And I wasn't joking that was a great promo that he did earlier.
Hey, okay, I think I'm back. So John Cena, I don't know. You can't see me. My time is up. Your time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. It's a franchise, but I'm shining now. You can't see me. My time is now. I've never even done him justice, so I don't even know how that sounded.
That was right on as far as I could tell. I thought that was perfect.
Oh, thanks a lot. I've heard a lot of flack about my John Cena.
Tony Bronco wants to know if you've tried reaching out to Triple H.
Triple H. Yeah, no, I don't think so. You know what? There's been too many times I think I've burned bridges online, and I just, I got a lot of pain and suffering and from what happened with my career, and just sometimes the way my life turned out, I keep going back to what happened to my career and where I went off the tracks and first got on the first wrong road, and it was back then. It was out of my WWE career, so I've never really tried to reach out to him. I think sometimes on Twitter I've tried, but it's not the place to try to reach out. But I've also said some really awful things when I've been drunk, and so some of the things it'd be really hard to take back. If I could, I'll just say it. Like, I take them back. I take a lot of the things that I've said drunk back. And so I think for Triple H, it's kind of like, he's busy doing his thing, and he can't really worry about someone who's been so, I don't know what the word you can use is, but unorthodox, that you can't trust. One day he's okay and the next day he's not again. And some of the things I can blame on mental illness, and some of the things I just have to blame on me not getting over some things and dealing with myself and my own ego. But whatever, I try not to. I'm trying to find a forgiveful place in my heart. And anything that happened to me in WWE was not Triple H's fault. It wasn't him doing it to me. It wasn't Stephanie. It wasn't Vince. So for me to have said bad things to them over the years, there was just no point or need for it. Some of the things that happened to me were a lot of the underlings that worked under them. And it's kind of just too bad the way it went down. But anyway, I respect Triple H, and I just don't want to bother him with a reach out, really.
It sounds like you would have actually preferred to have Vince McMahon himself fire you rather than Kevin Keller. How would he have done it?
He would have been like, "Hello, hey, Roddy. No, I'm not going to hell. I'm going to heaven, damn it. Oh, by the way, I gotta call. Wait, I gotta beep. Hold on. Hello, hi. Oh, Jason Sensation. No, the guy with caution tape. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, you're the guy who does Shawn Michaels, right? Yeah. Guess what? You're fired. Okay, pal. You're fired. Now, if you ever call me again, in fact, I'm gonna block your number. If you ever call me again, I'll kill you."
There you go.
That is hilarious, and it's sad that you froze halfway through that.
Oh, damn. See, Vince doesn't want me talking about him either. Okay.
Well, if anyone has the power, it is Vince. But that was pretty good.
Freemason Sensation.
He even added in that Vince would actually kill him. Crazy. Who else do you guys want to see me interview? Let me know in the comments. Here he is. He's coming back.
Hasta la vista. I said I'd be back.
Someone asked earlier, and I can't find it, about Jesse Ventura.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my best impressions. That's one of my favorite ones to do.
Come on, McMahon. I'm the one who tells it like it is. I'm Jesse the Body Ventura. And Hulk Hogan, you're a conspiracy. You're a conspiracy, Hulk Hogan. And Donald Trump, I should have ran against you, Donald Trump. Come on, McMahon.
There you go.
That's excellent. And Sharp Fitness Lock says, can you do Jerry Lawler? Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Do it again. I don't give Jerry Lawler justice either. I kind of just can do his yells and his screams, but can't do his actual voice. What a great guy, though. And when he was brought back to WWE, and it was just like you, Devin, it was just after that awful tweet I did, which, you know, you can go back to my impressions of wrestling and hear my apology, or even on your show, where I was just so sorry that I had done something like that. But I had definitely burned the bridge forever with that tweet. But Jerry Lawler still put me on his podcast and brought me on his show. And I'll never forget, like, I asked him, why are you doing this? I'm sure, like, you're going to get heat for this. You're back on Raw and you're putting me on your show. And he's like, I haven't heard anything. I wouldn't worry about it. So anyway, he was really nice about that. He was always good to me. Yeah, Jerry Lawler, a good guy.
He doesn't strike me as someone that really cares about the internet gossip.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah.
And he's still wrestling. I saw he wrestled Big Cass not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. I think he may have beat him too.
Really?
I think so.
Gosh, that's awesome. I wonder, because, yeah, I had a heart attack and I got stents put in. And I heard Lawler got stents put in, so I think I wrote him once, but I didn't get a reply. I'm sure he gets a million messages a day, but I was just like, because I wondered if I could still wrestle after getting stents put in. I wrestled one more match, and just taking a push where the woman, Mindy O'Brien, this bodybuilder, she pushed me kind of in the chest. She didn't mean it. But anyway, I was worried. My heart was hurting there, and I felt some pretty tough angina right during the match, and it took me a while to catch my breath again. So I wanted to always ask Jerry Lawler if you can still wrestle with stents, if you can take a chop and things of that nature when you have stents in. I asked my cardiologist.
Don't even bother. You'd be way better as a manager.
Yeah, thanks. That's what my cardiologist, he did say, why would you even bother? Why would you even bother? It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, you don't know wrestlers, man. It's in your blood.
Yeah, but honestly, your strong suit would be managing. So at least you mentioned you're 43. You can manage till you're like 60 at least, as long as you don't get any serious injuries.
That's true.
But I'm not going to say this because you already didn't expect this, but for the fan that was asking if WWE would take him, if you have stents in your heart, they would never play with that risk.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah. I don't think so.
Damn it. You freaking froze again. We're almost done.
All you had to say was WWE, see?
I'm watching you, Sensation.
Okay. Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back.
He is a very good promo. He would do great as a manager, I think.
All right, we got it.
Travis Burge Jr. would like to hear a Y2J impression.
Okay, this is me. Well, one time I saw Chris Jericho at an after-hours party, and I walked in and I was like, "Welcome to Raw's Jericho. Welcome to it." And he was like, "Oh shit, they got the impersonator here. Great, the impersonator's here. Hi, Jason. Been a long time. Great, the impersonator's here." But no, Jericho's always been nice to me, and he actually, I think he follows me on Twitter still, and so I could still message him. The last thing I messaged him was, "Hey, Jericho, I know I got bad press, but do you think you can hook me up with AEW? I could do voiceover work and all the legendary voices of all these wrestlers, and you guys could pay me in Canadian funds, and I could do the recordings here in Canada. And, you know, this, on top of all of that, you wouldn't even have to know that it was me. You wouldn't even need to put me on the credits. So forget the bad press. Can you bring that to Tony Khan?" And he didn't get back to me, but I'm sure he was getting a ton of messages about people trying to get work at the time. So I didn't hold it against him.
I'll be honest, though, and I think the fans would agree with me. You fans can say it in the comments. I think Jason would be more of an asset to AEW than Luther. Without question.
That's nice. I appreciate it.
There's no other reason than Jericho pulling strings for that guy to be in there.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thanks.
Boulder says, every Canadian kid wanted to be you. Thanks for the memories.
Oh, thanks. That means a lot. Yeah. And I realized the spot I was in because, you know, it was my lifelong dream too. So yeah, I was always grateful for that opportunity and what I got to do with it. Yeah, and so proud to, if I could choose one guy to impersonate and go back, it would be Owen Hart. I was so proud to do that. I'll forever be so proud of that.
Somebody else called you a legend on here. So I'm sure.
Appreciate that.
Slick One said that. So
I'd seen yesterday when you first put this up, I'd seen someone put up a comment, something like, "He's still healthy?" And I was shaking all my pill bottles. And I was like, who would say that? And I was like, you know what? My reply to him was, anyway. But I appreciate all the positivity I'm getting from so many people today. I'm really grateful.
There's just a lot of really mean people. Trust me, I can't. Now they're fucking with me. Whoever's playing with this technical crap.
It's a conspiracy. It's McMahon.
True North wants to know about the Iron Sheik. Can you do him?
Awesome. I know the Iron Sheik through the Megan boys because they had me doing so many shows. A lot of my career. Oh, I froze again. Son of a bitch. No good motherfucker. Froze the machine. Look at me. I'm Mr. Freeze from Batman.
There's I'm gonna ask definitely about this Superstar Billy Graham one. I can do one, but I'm not going to. Chris Stoffler, which is quite a name, is asking for Superstar Billy Graham. Can you do him?
I've never tried the Superstar. I'd have to work on that one. Yeah, Superstar Billy Graham. I mean, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey. Wait, that was Savages, but close. Reflections of Perfection. Oh yeah, my boys, Flesh and Vlad. Reflections of Perfection, baby. That's where we got our name, the ROPs. We got it from Superstar Billy Graham. Yeah.
What happened with Flesh's tryout? I remember him from the Blind Date episode he was on.
Oh, yeah.
He had the look. I don't.
Yeah, he really got a look. You're right. And a voice. I don't know. I know when he got to Memphis, when he was in Memphis, did a tryout with Sin. I don't know, like, you know, he still needed work in the ring, and some shit went on between them, which was kind of tough. And, you know, maybe it'd be good you get Flesh on your show and get to hear the story. I don't even want to go into it without saying everything that's right on the money there. But there was some stuff that happened between him and Sin. But Also, he was so powerful. He was so strong. I remember him whipping guys to the ring, to the rope, and they couldn't turn in time. And he was very strong. And, his work just got better and better and better. And with his look and with his promo skills, I mean, they should have gave him an opportunity. And then years later, when he was working, I think, for BSE with Vlad, and him and Vlad were doing the ROP gimmick where they were the world's greatest personal trainers. I mean, that was some of the greatest stuff I'd ever seen. And I don't some of the promos that they have is still on YouTube, but Flesh and Vlad, Reflections of Perfections, or the ROP. But yes, watch some of that stuff. It was so good, and I wish they would have got called up to WWE or given an opportunity, because they were so entertaining. I really thought the company dropped the ball by having them both in the company. Yeah.
Somebody is asking for you to do an impersonation of the most hated guy in Ontario right now.
Doug Ford. Damn. I've never even tried to do an impression of him. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
If you would do one proclaiming of what an asshole he is, it would probably go viral.
Probably. Too bad. I wasn't ready for that.
Remember his brother was like doing crack when he was mayor?
What a story. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, he had a lot
Maybe that's how he beat Hulk Hogan in the arm wrestling. I couldn't believe Hogan did a job to the guy that supposedly had all these issues and was out of shape. Did you see that? I'm sure you must have.
Yeah, that's right. I heard something about that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, he was even on Jimmy Kimmel. I think he just got over with a lot of these guys.
Because people were recording him where he's fucked up, and like he's the mayor of Toronto, which is a huge population city.
I'm always grateful when I ride my bicycle down the streets and I've got all these extra bike lanes. I know he was instrumental in helping put a lot of these bike lanes in Toronto. So I'm grateful for that. I'll always be grateful to him for that.
Well, I won't even go to Toronto because of the traffic for driving.
It's bad. I met Doug Ford once when I was actually dressed up as like a green Macho Man for St. Patrick's Day parade. And Doug Ford came by and I was like, oh yeah, Doug Ford, I'm going to meet him. Yeah. And he was happy to meet me, even meet just a Macho Man impersonator. So I got that on tape, me meeting Doug Ford.
Colonel Quayle wants a Trump impression. I know you must be able to do Trump. He's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Donald Trump. You know what? My favorite wrestler of all time was The Wall. The Wall was a great wrestler. He was really good. And just like The Wall, we tried to build one. But go ahead, Biden. You screwed it over. Hey, I didn't screw over anything. There's Biden again. Forgot his mask. COVID, 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 COVID. That's all I hear. There you go.
What about Bobby the Brain Heenan, or as Gorilla Monsoon would call him, the Weasel?
Oh, Bobby Heenan. I could never do him justice for some reason. But
I'm Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm the smartest man alive. I'm not the Weasel.
But anyway, it's okay, but it doesn't do him justice. Like in my mind, it's not perfected. So,
what about Billy Jack Haynes? Harry Smith can do a really good Billy Jack Haynes.
I've never tried him. I would love to hear Harry's.
There, I'll send you Harry's. Billy Jack saw it too, and he didn't really like it, which makes it even more funny. I've watched the clip of Harry's Billy Jack impression hundreds of times.
Hilarious. He does a really good Arn Anderson as well.
Yes. Yeah, I got the Arn Anderson. Can you do an Arn Anderson?
Not as good.
Double A Arn Anderson. I don't know why. I don't go visit Ric Flair and I don't talk to him. I got time to talk to Conrad. How come I don't got time to talk to Ric Flair? 4 Horsemen for life.
I don't know. It's not that good.
He's been talking to Conrad a bit too much. I mean, I can find the picture, but I saw a picture of him recently, and it looks like Conrad's eating habits are coming off on Arn. I'm serious.
That's not nice.
Can you do a Mean Gene?
Mean Gene Okerlund. No, I can't. I wouldn't do him justice. He had such a distinctive voice, and he is actually the guy I wanted. I wanted to be the next Mean Gene. That was my dream, to be the next Mean Gene. So it's funny, but I could never get down his deep. I could never get down his voice. He's got such a distinctive broadcasting voice, and maybe there's a subconscious respect I have for him. Yeah, but I could never learn it.
Someone asked a question earlier: who was the nicest wrestler and who was the meanest? I think Mordecai is probably the meanest if he actually attacked you, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, with his apology, you know, it's weird when you say sorry to someone, how much it could do. And I forgive him, and I don't think he was the meanest. His explanation, Mordecai, Kevin Fortig, his explanation of what he was going through at the time, being young and impressionable and trying to get in with these guys who were kind of setting him off and putting him down, like putting him up to some of these things. So his apology really meant the world to me. And I would honestly say the nicest guy was Owen Hart. He'll forever, always to me, be the nicest human being I've ever met in my life. Funniest, most kindest person. And also now Mick Foley and Bret Hart, you know, these guys that I've come to know over the years, they're such good people, you know, and, you know, so many, Brian Kendrick, you know, Daniel Bryan, you know, so many of these guys that Paul London, I mean, Shooter Schultz, I mean, Lance Cade, there's so many of these wonderful guys. I really, really, you know, I met a lot of really nice people. You know, Billy Gunn was a dick, but he apologized. Bradshaw was a dick sometimes, but he apologized. You know, a lot of the people that were dicks. I guess there's probably the meanest guy to me was an agent who messed with me pretty bad, and he's passed away now, so I'd rather not mention his name.
Pat Patterson.
No, it wasn't Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson was really cool with me. He was great to me. Yeah.
Can you do him?
The last time I saw him, I was like, Pat Patterson. It was at Dolph Ziggler's comedy show. I was like, Pat, could you? I was going on after him. I was like, could you introduce me? And he hadn't seen me for maybe 20 years. And I was like, can you please introduce me? And he's like, what's your name? And I said, Jason Sensation. But I don't know who the fuck you are. And he walked off. So I can't really do his impression, but Mick Foley can do a better impression of him.
What about Andre the Giant, whose birthday was yesterday? He would have been 75.
That's right.
Andre the Giant. They put me on the pedestal because I am the greatest eighth wonder of the world. Happy birthday to me. I quit drinking. But David Letterman, I still drink white wine.
That one's pretty good. What about, I know you can do Terry Funk, one guy that I actually beat the crap out of and ridded the wrestling world of.
I'm Terry Funk. Jason the Sensation. How are you doing, man? I hope you're doing good.
I hope Terry Funk's doing good. I love him. I haven't talked to him in years, but we were very close. Shared a room together a couple of occasions, and he always gave me some good insight on the business. He was a really great guy with me, and yeah, I love Terry Funk forever, and I just hope he's well. God bless him, and blessings to him and his family and his loved ones. Excuse me.
Yeah, I've heard he's not doing well, so let's hope he's doing better than the last I heard, unfortunately. Yeah, Paul Bear has come up a bunch of times. I know you can do him. He's an easy one.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm Paul Bear, Jason. How are you doing? Oh, yes. Rest in peace, my Undertaker. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
He's the one who came up with yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that is true. And it just reminds me, hearing you do all these impressions, like there were so many better characters in wrestling in the past, and you don't have those characters anymore with a few exceptions, but like the whole roster you could almost do impressions of, like up until 2000 seemingly.
Yeah, so true. And yeah, that's the way I feel about these. And a lot of people ask me to do impressions of the day now, and I just can't seem to get them down pat. And it's nothing personal against any of these workers who, there are some amazing workers who can run circles around some of the workers from back then. But I don't know. I like the work back in the day. Like Bret Hart always says, you know, it always seemed like a real fight. I'll say it in Bret Hart's voice. It always seemed like a real fight back in the day. You know, nowadays, you never go into a bar and see someone jump off a bar and do 3 flips before they land on somebody waiting to catch them. And there was always a more real aspect to wrestling back in the day. So as much as I'm not putting down the athletics of what they do now, the back in the day, there was just so much more. I don't know. Yeah, not talking about as much as the athletics, but I agree with Bret Hart on that. But the characters and the guys being able to be extensions of themselves and kind of coming up with their own material and their own promos. I mean, it's it can't be duplicated. It can't be redone. Those were the days. Those were the people we used to watch. And yeah, I can't seem to grasp doing impressions of guys of this day for some reason.
No, I don't like Jim Cornette very much, but someone here asked about Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, if you could do them.
I can't. I don't think I can do a very good Jim Cornette, but
he's using his pull to freeze you.
I'm scared of doing Jim Cornette. The guy will make me. He'll drive me to suicide in his rebuttal.
Oh,
okay,
God. He doesn't even leave his house.
I'm scared of him. He can be so mean. Okay, let me go and come back.
I'm not a fan of him, but I'm not denying that he's got a following. He's been in the business since the 1980s. I think we might have scared Jason off asking for that impression. He's afraid that I'm actually going to force him to do the impression. All right, folks, I'm going to call it. There was tons of impressions there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for those that tipped.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video.